Boom, 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 boom. Now tell me what you gonna do when it ain't nowhere to run. When judgment comes for you. When judgment comes for you. Tell me what you gonna do when it ain't nowhere to hide. When judgment comes for you. 'Cause it's gonna come for you.
Nigga, this for water, easy, see something Charlie. Little boo, but God's got him. And I'm gonna miss everybody out of rolling flows like I ain't looked at a while. Like, I'm playing for dust and they play too deep for beachside. Little legs I got too deep. Tell me your feature deceased, would it please? Marry me by my grand, new way. You can't go follow
God bless you, working on a plan to heaven.
Backbone Wrestling Network. Welcome back to the CrosUp, your weekly look back at the week that was in professional wrestling. This week I'll be running through the results and happenings from Raw on December 1st to Collision on December 6th, as well as TNA's Turning Point and NXT's Deadl1ne PLE. We open with Raw. Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett are in the crowd to open the show. Throw us to a recap of Survivor Series from the previous weekend, kind of show us all what happened in the War Games matches, as well as the two other matches as well. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky come out to open the show proper. They say they wanted War Games, but now they want revenge. Io calls out Asuka, but Charlotte and Alexa Bliss come out instead. Bliss says she heard them wanting the women's tag team titles, and they are going to need Rhea and Io to step back because it's their shot first. They say they're cool with Rhea and Io, but it's not their turn yet. Rhea then says... Rhea then tells Charlotte and Alexa that they need to go to the back of the line, but eventually a match is set up for later on that's not really technically a number one contenders match, but seems to be kind of a quasi number one contenders match. We'll see how that goes a little later on. We go back to Adam Pearce. He makes the match official that we just talked about. Ivy Nile then comes in. She says she wants to face Maxine Dupree. Adam Pearce suggests that it will happen eventually, maybe not tonight. Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker then show up outside of his office, and Adam Pearce obviously isn't happy to see them. Heyman doesn't like being accused of sending in a masked man at War Games because he absolutely did not. He says now, though, he wants to talk about Braun Breaker pinning CM Punk, which Pearce is kind of reluctantly but willing to talk about in his office. We then look back at the John Cena versus CM Punk rivalry. We get some comments from Punk about how he thinks he's Cena's greatest rival, and he has a pretty good claim to that, I would say. They have some great matches throughout the years and have obviously kind of been thorn on each other's side for a good portion of their careers that they were in the same company, at least. We then go to a semifinal match for the Last Time Is Now tournament. LA Knight defeats Jey Uso via pinfall when Jay does kind of a lazy cover after an Uso splash, and Knight ends up turning it into a crucifix pin and gets the 3 count. After the match, LA Knight obviously bails, and Jay kind of loses his mind and throws some stuff around, breaks some stuff in frustration. We then go to Bailey. Almost, I combined their names. Bailey and Lyra. I called them Bayla. Bailey and Lyra are in the back. They want a tag team title shot as well. Says, let's wait till the main event's over tonight, and we'll figure it out from there. The Kabuki Warriors then come up with Asuka mocking Bailey. Obviously, they used to be in Damage Control together. But they mock Bailey for not getting what she wants, while Charlotte seems to always do so, obviously pitting Bailey and Charlotte kind of against each other, as they have been for most of their careers. Kairi Sane then wraps a random green chain around Bailey's neck, and Bailey's pretty pissed about them toying with her, and eventually Asuka yells at Kairi to kind of come and follow her out of the room. We then go to the Judgment Day. They are out in the ring. Dominic Mysterio is showing off the John Cena side plates on the Intercontinental Championship. He brags about being the greatest of all time, and the fact that he's definitely the greatest Mysterio of all time. He says it makes him the greatest luchador of all time and the king of the luchadors. He thanks Judgment Day for their help, including Liv Morgan, who comes out kind of separate from them. He kind of introduces her. She says the people didn't see her coming back, but neither did John Cena. Dom then talks about how they played the one ace up their sleeve and got the title back, and Liv is obviously back as well. Liv then says that Judgment Day runs Monday Night Raw, slaps Dom once again, but then jumps into his arms. And they, I don't remember if they made out or not, but they definitely peck and kiss a little bit. So, but Liv says the Judgment Day hadn't quite been what they were before she left, but she's back now, and they're going to get right back to dominating Raw. We then go to a video of Maxine Dupree training with Natalia in her dungeon. Natalia actually makes her tap a few times, tells her to get out of the ring because she doesn't deserve to be here. And then Maxine wants to keep going, and Natalia eventually approves as Maxine continues to fight back and fight back, showing that she doesn't give up. We then go to Adam Pearce. He talks to the referee about the Masked Man at Survivor Series. Pearce says he knows it's not Seth Rollins, so he wants the referee to see if he can find anything out and report back to him later. We then get the tag team titles on the line where AJ Styles and Dragon Lee retain against the New Day. When Dragon Lee does like a double stomp on Kofi Kingston's back while he's draped across the top rope, this ends up like ricocheting him into AJ Styles, who then hits him with the Styles Clash. Really cool finish. Really, really good match at the same time as well. But really, really cool finish for sure. We then look at Stephanie Vaquer retaining her title against Nikki Bella. Vaquer says she's ready for her next title challenger, and Liv Morgan comes to get in her face and tell her that she is back. We then go to the Vision. They are out to the ring. Paul Heyman gives a shout out to Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre before moving on to the three people in the ring. Bronson Reed, Tsunami, everyone on the other team. Logan Paul is the biggest mainstream star on the face of the earth. He also shouts out the WWE executives who have made CM Punk versus Braun Breaker for the World Heavyweight Championship on the January 5th Raw in Brooklyn, which will be the 1-year anniversary of the Netflix debut. The fans then chant for CM Punk, but Braun Breaker says he's upset tonight. It's not because of where he is or because of the Masked Man, but rather how easy it was to pin CM Punk at Survivor Series. He thought he was going to have to dig deeper than ever and go to a level he's never reached before. Then he found out that Punk is just a soft-ass bitch. Punk is no different than any veteran who has lived off of past greatness, just like Seth Rollins, their old leader. The reality is that Punk isn't even the biggest star in his own household. We get another CM Punk chant after that. Braun then says he is ready to fight in Brooklyn because Punk tried to break his neck at Survivor Series, which was a really brutal spot. He took a doomsday device and landed right on his head. He says he's coming for everything in January and wants to take every great memory that CM Punk has ever had. Last year at WrestleMania, Punk came up to him and said, "Let's see if you can cut a promo with the big dogs." Well, consider the promo cut because he's going to leave Punk looking up at the lights and realizing that he's not as good as Braun Breaker and that Braun Breaker is the real best in the world and will soon be the new World Heavyweight Champion. We then go to Jey Uso. He doesn't have anything to say to the interview. I think Kathy Kelly tries to interview him and says people in his head need to get out. The only person he has to blame is the one looking in the mirror. Roman Reigns said it best that the titles look better on Roman Reigns' shoulders and not his. We then get our other semifinal for the Last Time Is Now tournament. We get Gunther defeating Solo Sikoa via pinfall when Tala Tonga has the ref distracted and Gunther takes advantage, hits a low blow, and then hits the powerbomb for the win. And this obviously sets up a final between Gunther and LA Knight. So LA Knight comes out and gets in the ring, talks a little trash, and they don't shake hands, but they kind of do like a respect nod before LA Knight bails. The referee, we then go back to the referee who did some investigating. He has no information on the Masked Man. Adam Pearce says to keep him posted. And then AJ Styles and Dragon Lee come in and say they want another title match next week. And they suggest the War Raiders as opponents, and Pearce makes the match official. We then get we can kind of get a cut in where we get shown what's coming up next week. Rey Mysterio is going to face Finn Balor next week. We then have Rey in the back. He is sick of Dominic and he's ready to go through Judgment Day one at a time to get back to his son. There's a chance he might have even come after the Intercontinental Championship. Logan Paul comes in to say that sounds crazy, with Rey saying that Logan Paul might be the one person he hates and thinks is worse than his son Dominic. Logan Paul then mocks Rey's height and says the Intercontinental Championship belongs to the Division, so he needs to step back and step down. Rey then asks who is going to stop him, with Logan Paul kind of shouting back that it's going to be him and issuing some threats his way. Rey then slaps the shit out of Logan, and then security and the producers come in to kind of break it up. And then we go to our main event where Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss ends in a no contest when the Kabuki Warriors come out and attack both teams. After the match, the beatdown is on, and Lyra and Bailey run in to make the save. We have we have multiple other teams run in. The Judgment Day girls come in to attack as well. With them ending up, obviously there's three of them. There's Liv, Raquel, and Roxanne all come out. They end up laying everyone out, and Perez and Raquel end up posing with the titles. Roxanne tries to hand her belt to Liv, but Liv says that Roxanne should hold on to it because she's going to seemingly go for singles gold. But pretty good way to end the show. We're seemingly headed towards a pretty big women's clash between all these teams. There seems to be a lot of women's tag teams right now. So we don't even, Nia and Lash Legend didn't even pop up on the show. So that's another team they have to contend with. So maybe leading to an eventual elimination chamber. It's a little early to start building towards that, but I have a feeling that once we get there, we're probably going to have that kind of match eventually. But as far as best match, I would go with Gunther versus Solo. It's probably Solo Sikoa's best match, but they really beat the crap out of each other. Gunther is a really special talent. Obviously I've been doing this a while, but there's some guys that if you know are getting in the ring, they're going to put on something special most of the time when they come out. Gunther's one of those guys, and he pulled the absolute best he absolutely could out of Solo Sikoa, which was a really good bomb fest between the two guys. So solid action. But both semifinals were actually really good. But Gunther and Solo was definitely the better of the two for me. We'll then go to NXT. We open with the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge participants in the ring with Ava to get things going. Sol Ruga thinks everyone should see her as being great, even though she's had some issues recently. Obviously, Jordan Grace says she has experience winning, and she'll do so again at Deadline. Lola Vice tells Jordan Grace to shut up, and Kendall Gray then pipes up and says she's the only person who is already a champion in this match. Kalani Jordan then pipes up and says she doesn't want to hear from Kendall Gray because the challenge is innovative and electrifying, which only describes Kalani Jordan in this case. The other four are stand-ins, and she is the standout. Fatal Influence then comes out to interrupt. JC Jane brags about her skinny waist and then insults all of the participants. Talks about how she's the champion and that's going to stay that way. Insults are thrown back and forth throughout the rest of the people, but Kalani and Fatal Influence end up getting cleared out of the ring, so all of the faces in the match stand tall. We then get Joe Hendry and Thea Hale. They are happy with what's going on around here and being a team lately. Stax and Ariana Grace come in to throw some insults their way, and Thea and Ariana Grace have a match kind of set up from this segment. We then go to Ava. She tells security to keep Kalani and Jordan Grace apart. Fatal Influence then come in and get put into a 6-woman tag with the other participants in the Iron Survivor Challenge later tonight. We then get Thea Hale defeating Ariana Grace when she makes her tap to the Kimura lock. We then go to earlier this week. Chase U almost hit OTM with their car, so OTM yells at Andre Chase, who then yells at the two Chase U guys. OTM says that if this happens again, it's on site, and Andre Chase doesn't even begin to know what that means, but he knows it's not good. We then get Javon Evans, Leon Slater, and Joe Hendry and Miles Bourne. They talk about being ready for Dark State, with Ava saying that there's going to be a match involving Dark State for the Iron Survivor Challenge advantage. She starts explaining what she means. Robert Stone then comes in with a box, and it seemingly has coal in it for her for Christmas. So it's a very strange scene, but basically there's a tag team match later on in the show. All the face participants in the Iron Survivor Challenge taking on Dark State. Whoever gets the pin gets the advantage to pick what number they enter at for the Iron Survivor Challenge. So whoever ends up getting the pin gets to pick where they enter. We then go to Josh Briggs. He defeats Tavion Heights via pinfall following a big clothesline. We then get the culling out to cut a promo. Izzy Dame gets why the fans love Tatum Paxley so much. And then the fans obviously chant at her and kind of throw in some insults toward her. Izzy Dame wasn't wild on Paxley, turning her back on the women who pulled her out of her terrible place. Paxley was known as a little weirdo freak, and Dame gave her some confidence. It felt like Paxley didn't think what the culling gave her was good enough. Paxley won the title because Dame allowed her to, and then Paxley ignored her, trying to guide her in the right way. This week they'll be facing off at Deadline, and Dame will give her one final lesson. Tatum then pops up on the screen and says Izzy Dame took everything from her, and at Deadline she has to make Izzy feel her pain. We then get Solruka. She apologizes to Zarya for not being there last week. Zarya says she won't be here this week, but the rest of the team of Solruka's later on tonight really doesn't care whether Zarya is there or not. And Sol doesn't really seem to care all that much either. We then go to a video. It explains the Iron Survivor Challenge rules. Obviously, 25 minutes. There's 5 entrants to start, and every so often a new competitor comes in, and at the end of the 25 minutes, whoever has the most falls wins the match. We then go to Kendall Gray, Lola Vice, and Solruka defeating Fatal Influence when Sol hits the Soul Snatcher on JC Jane. After the match, Zarya comes out and accidentally spears Kendall Gray, even though it wasn't on purpose, and that is not who she was at all aiming for, but continues to kind of put the drive the wedge in between Sol and Zarya for everything that they've been going through lately. We then get at NXT Anonymous. It shows Javon Evans talking to Ricky Saints. They're both ready to win at Deadline, though Javon Evans does tease coming after Ricky when he wins his Iron Survivor match. We then go to Deadl1ne. He wants the NXT title and gives his tag team championship to Saquon Sugars. Obo Femi comes in, and Lennox says he wants to face Femi at New Year's Evil. Femi tells him to not get ahead of himself, but he will be champion coming out of Deadline. We then go to OTM. They defeat Chase U when they hit an assisted Alabama slam on Uriah Connors. We then look at Ethan Page in a tag match against Mr. Iguana in AAA from last month. Ethan Page tries to leave, but Ava stops him and says he has a title defense against Mr. Iguana at Deadline. And Mr. Iguana ends up actually stealing Ethan Page's car as the segment kind of closes out. We then go to Shiloh Hill. He talks about getting to eat raccoon for Thanksgiving. He talks about a Thanksgiving race from when he was a kid. He got lost in the forest and went into survival mode, which changed things for him. It helped him on LFG, where Undertaker fired him up by telling him that it was time to take his opponent's souls, and he really needed to fend for himself and understand that he's in this business, obviously to be the best and all that kind of stuff. But some continued weirdness from Shiloh there, of course. We then go to the main event where Joe Hendry, Miles Bourne, Leon Slater, and Javon Evans defeat Dark State when Slater hits the Swanton 450, and Miles Bourne comes in and hits the Bourne again on Osiris Griffin. So Bourne gets the pinfall and gets to select where he comes in for the Iron Survivor match at Deadline. And then we go to a final segment where we're in the back for a contract signing for Obafemi versus Ricky Saints. They both sign while talking about how they promised to win. Ava then tells them that they are opening the show at Deadline to kind of close things out. But the 8-man tag to end the show was the best match for sure. I would say both Iron Survivor kind of tag matches that they had throughout the show were both well done, but the main event men's one was just a skosh better, I would say. We will go from there to Dynamite. We open with Tony Schiavone. He's in the ring. He starts to bring out the world champion Samoa Joe and next week's challenger Eddie Kingston. Joe tells Schiavone to get out and then insults the crowd, saying he's not looking nice out here because, well, we are in Indianapolis and nobody else here looks good as well, or nice for that matter. With that out of the way, he explains that Hook is where he is because he had the right training. Joe wanted Hook to see what it was like to be around the low-level stars, so that's why he picked Kingston to kind of have him follow around. Next week, Kingston will fight for everything he has, but just like every other time, he won't cross the finish line. Kingston talks about how Hook learned to never quit, and yeah, he yells a lot, but he gets stuff done. He accuses Joe of being the kind of people who got in people's heads and messed with people. That's who Joe used to hate, but now he's one of them. It better be old school Joe, or Kingston will eat him alive on the 10th. Uh, Obviously, the date of their match, and he will be the new world champion. We then go to commercial. Come back. The Ops are ready to fight in the backstage, and they are going to beat up. They decide to go for the Dark Order. So we go from there for our first Continental Classic match of the night. We get Kazuchika Okada defeating Pac via pinfall when he is able to reverse the Brutalizer into a cradle for a 3 count. Okada gets 3 points in the Continental Classic in the Gold League. So those are his first 3 points. So he kind of gets off the 0 mark after the first week. We then go to Mark Briscoe. He is ready to face Daniel Garcia again for the TNT title. He doesn't think as much of Garcia this time, but he knows that the talent is there if he brings it and doesn't have his mind clouded by all the Death Rider kind of stuff that he's been going through. We got earlier today, Ricochet in the Gates of Agony promised to beat Ricochet is with the Gates of Agony. He promises to beat Dalton Castle at Final Battle, and he'll even have another title defense the next night on Collision as well. We then go to Mark Briscoe again. He is ready for Orange Cassidy versus Roderick Strong at the Continental Classic on Collision, but Strong insists that he is not in the conglomeration and promises to break Orange Cassidy's back. We get an update that Darby Allin is injured and is unable to travel. We'll get more on that on Collision as we go forward. We then go to another Continental Classic match where Kyle Fletcher defeats Kevin Knight via pinfall following a brainbuster. Fletcher gets 3 points, which gets him to 6 points total in the Gold League. Puts him in the first place in the Gold League. Now, actually, I think he's in the Blue League. I think I wrote that down wrong, but he's in the front. I'll say for sure, whichever league he's in. I'm pretty sure he's in the blue one though. So, but I'll correct that at some point. But he has 6 points and he's doing well. So we then go to the post match with Don Callis. He gets in the ring, and Josh Alexander and Hechicero come in and join, carrying the $1 million that they won in the tag match at the pay-per-view. They go to commercial, come back. Callis calls out the Young Bucks for doing the unforgivable and signing up with Kenny Omega. Don Callis tells the Young Bucks to come get their money, so they obviously come out only to get beaten down. The Jurassic Express then come in, but more members of the family come out, with the family kind of taking over. Kenny Omega eventually makes the real save, and the Don Callis family escapes with the money. And I did confirm Kyle Fletcher and Okada are both in the Gold League. I think I may have to make a correction later, because I think I also said somebody else that has a match later is in the Gold League. So I'll correct that when I go. But Okada and Kyle Fletcher are both in the Gold League in the Continental Classic, and Kyle Fletcher is at the top with 6 points. We then get a video of the Babes of Wrath, which is Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron, kind of hyping up their final match against the winner of the next match for the women's tag team title. The Timeless Love Bombs, which is Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa, defeat Marina Shafir and Megan Bayne when Storm uses the shoe on Shafir and gets the pin. It was a kind of a hardcore anything goes match. I think they called it a death match, but Timeless Love Bombs advance to the finals of the tag title tournament, and they will take on the Babes of Wrath to determine the first women's tag team champions. We then get the Triangle of Madness. They're sick of Chris Statlander and Jamie Hayter. They both come in and say they want a tag team match, and Hayter wants to eventually talk about a women's title match later on with Chris Statlander after they're done with the Triangle of Madness. We then go to the Dark Order. They are excited about being in action, but tell Hangman Page not to ruin this for them. Page says he won't, but he'll soon be there soon after the match is over if anything goes wrong. Mercedes Moné doesn't want to hear about Full Gear and brags about her many titles and successes. She's ready to beat Red Velvet once again and retain her Ring of Honor TV championship. And she will actually even be on Ring of Honor's TV later in the week, she announces. We then look at FTR getting challenged by the Bang Bang Gang. Stokely Hathaway finds it pathetic that the Bang Bang Gang want the titles for their injured friends. FTR mocks every member and dare the gang to touch their belts again. We then get the Ops defeating the Dark Order when Hobbs hits a spinebuster on Evil Uno. After the match, Hangman Page comes out as promised and cleans house of all of the Ops, but security eventually cuts off a buckshot lariat attempt on Powerhouse Hobbs. We then get the Don Callis. He thinks the family will win the Continental Classic no matter what member it is. He tries to explain the unified title, but he's not putting the other legs of the titles up because it would be stupid for them to defend that while they're going for the Continental Championship. We then go to Hangman Page. He calls out the Ops for next week and says he won't be coming alone. And then we get our main event where Claudio Castagnoli defeats Jon Moxley via pinfall following a running uppercut. This another Jon Moxley defeat, which is good to see. This gets Claudio 3 more points, and this puts him atop the Blue League with 6 points total. But as far as best match, I thought Claudio and Jon Moxley was good, but I would go with Kyle Fletcher and Kevin Knight. I thought they had a pretty hard-hitting, kind of high-flying banger, so I would definitely give them the leg up this week. So we go from there to Impact. We open with a vignette where we are in what appears to be like a barn. We see various wrestlers. Some of them are carrying this glowing box that's labeled with the TNA logo. We kind of have a cover of In the Air Tonight, obviously by Phil Collins originally, but kind of done over by a random band this time. Is kind of playing in the background. They eventually open the case, and it is the announcement that TNA will be coming to AMC on January 15th. So they finally get their big TV deal that they've been teasing for quite a while. So getting on a pretty big channel, maybe not the biggest channel, but channel nonetheless, which is more than they could say in the past. So really cool stuff for them. Happy for them to get that opportunity. We then have our opening match where Brooks Jensen defeats the Hometown Man via pinfall when Lexis King provides a distraction long enough for Jensen to get a big boot and get the pin on Hometown Man. We then get the Rascals in their treehouse. They talk about, obviously, how Wes Lee is no longer Wes Lee, but Desmond Xavier once again. They kind of get confused and have a little comedic segment about that. They talk about how they don't like Order 4 either. And they do their crazy thing. Obviously, it's insinuated that they're smoking in said treehouse, and they just giggle and kind of laugh. So a pretty good comedy segment from these guys, as per usual. We then get the Inspiration. They come out to cut a promo. They brag about their recent successes and tell other teams to shoot their shot and come after them. Tessa Blanchard and Victoria Crawford then come out, says they're challenging them for the titles at Final Resolution tomorrow night as of this show. Mila Moore then comes in, who's kind of their heavy. She comes in and beats down both Inspiration members. And then Tessa and Victoria get in the ring, and somehow the Inspiration still fights back and wards all three of them off, and the Inspiration stand tall. We then get Santino kind of rallying the troops to go up against the NXT invaders. He talks to the Hardys, Steve Macklin, Cedric Alexander, before they kind of face some NXT stars tonight and at Final Resolution. We then look back at the TNA stars getting into a fight this week on NXT with the NXT superstars. We then go to Xia Brookside. She defeats Dani Luna via pinfall with an inside cradle after a little help from Indy Hartwell. This earns her the number one contendership at Final Resolution and will face Lei Ying Li. Lei Ying Li comes out, is happy with her partner, Xia Brookside, winning and getting the title shot, and says, "May the best woman win." We then get Mike Santana coming out, and he defeats Robert Stone in about 15 seconds with the spin block clothesline. So a big win, big win there for TNA, taking out old Robert Stone. Frankie Kazarian then says he doesn't like JDC talking about how he's retiring and trying to steal Frankie Kazarian's spotlight. He says people like John Cena and AJ Styles are retiring, but they are stars and JDC is not. JDC couldn't be a star if he was thrown by a ninja. We then go to First Class. AJ Francis is not happy with Rich Swann losing to Leon Slater at the last special event. This brings out Leon Slater as the guest of the First Class Penthouse. Francis calling him stupid for granting him a title shot. Slater doesn't get why Francis is talking down to Swan before promising to slap Francis in the face at Final Resolution. Francis offers a toast and then slaps the glass out of Slater's hand. They start to brawl, and Swan has the title loaded up, but he refuses to hit Slater with it. Francis instead gives Slater the down payment, which is the choke slam, and is not happy with Swan not cracking him over the head with the title. We then go to the system. They talk about replacing JDC once he retires. Though they aren't sure who they were going for, they know whoever it is will have to trust the system. We then go to JDC himself. He talks about flying a lot of miles and being ready to hang up the boots for the sake of his personal life, his marriage, and just his body in general. He says at Final Resolution, he'll show what he can do and show Frankie Kazarian that he is not that he is deserving and not just a man getting an opportunity because he's retiring. We then get Mustafa Ali. He defeats Trey Miguel via submission with the sharpshooter. And then we got our main event where Stax, Igwe, DuPont, and King defeat Lexus King defeat the Hardys, Cedric Alexander, and Steve Macklin, when Lexus King is able to score a shot with his cane on Macklin, and Stax is able to get the pin. And then after the match, Santino comes out and gets in his future son-in-law's face, Stax, Channing Lorenzo, and yells at him to end the show. So continuing the war. We still don't know who's kind of behind the NXT guys coming in. It seems that they have kind of a higher power kind of guiding them this way. Robert Stone has claimed that it's not him, but we'll hopefully eventually figure out who's kind of sending these guys to attack the TNA stars. But Trey Miguel and Ali had a banger of a match for an Impact broadcast, I would say. So they had a really good match, so definitely check that one out. And that won't be the last match that those two guys are involved in. That'll be a great match for TNA throughout the week. But we'll move to SmackDown. We open with another recap of Survivor Series. Obviously, they have to get theirs in. Drew McIntyre then arrives at the arena, but Nick Aldis cuts him off, saying he is still suspended and that has not been lifted by Nick Aldis himself. McIntyre goes to get back into his truck, but Cody Rhodes jumps him from behind, and McIntyre has to speed out. Rhodes then storms the ring and says he wants Aldis to reinstate Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre broke an unwritten rule in wrestling by going to Rhodes' home away from home, and now Rhodes is going to get him somewhere and anywhere he can. He tells him to reinstate McIntyre so he can stomp on him like the cockroach that he is. We then get Tommaso Ciampa. He wants the U.S. title tonight, but Carmelo Hayes comes in, calls him a jackass, and says, "Oh, actually, I've got the shot for tonight." So he will face Ilya coming up in a second. We then go to Damian Priest in the back, though he's tired of dealing with Aleister Black and Zelina, so he's brought Rhea Ripley in to help him take both of them out. We then get the U.S. title open challenge. Ilya defeats Carmelo Hayes via pinfall, falling to Torpedo Moscow and the H-bomb after Ciampa had come out and kind of fucked with Carmelo to get some revenge on him kind of stealing his shot. After the match, Dragunov eventually sees the replay because he didn't see that Ciampa had interfered and is not happy with how he was able to gain that victory. We then go to Alexa Bliss and Charlotte. They are on the same page and are ready to continue their pursuit of getting their women's tag team titles back. We then go to LA Knight. He is ready for Gunther. He says because it's the last time for one of them. LA Knight takes off his sunglasses, says he's unlike anything Gunther has ever seen. He even says an all right, and says tonight it'll be him and Gunther, and he will emerge victorious, and he will go on to face John Cena. We then look at John Cena winning the WWE title from AJ Styles at the 2017 Royal Rumble. Just kind of another look back at Cena's career. He kind of talks about it a little bit, gives some context to the big title win there. But then we go to our next match where Alexa Bliss defeats Kairi Sane via pinfall following the Sister Abigail DDT. After the match, Nia Jax and Lash Legend jump Charlotte and Alexa Bliss from behind for a big beatdown. They then go over to Kairi Sane, but Asuka comes back in to take out Lash Legend. Nia then choke bombs Asuka and lays her out, and then Lash Legend comes in with a pump kick as well on Kairi, and then Asuka is eventually able to save Kairi Sane from getting hit with the Annihilator by Nia. So continued tag team title stuff. We had now a fifth team into the kind of rotation. So we'll see where they continue to go with this women tag title kind of situation. We then go to Cody Rhodes and Nick Aldis. They want to do something, and they go into his office. NXT champion Ricky Saints and number one contender Obafemi are waiting for both of them. Aldis leaves and lets Cody Rhodes announce what's going to happen. Cody says that in the spirit of what John Cena wants next week, Saturday night's main event, the winner of Ricky Saints versus Obafemi at Deadline will be facing Cody Rhodes in a match at that Saturday night's main event. So not only will the winner of the match be the NXT champion, but they will get to face Cody Rhodes next week as well. We go to Nia Jackson, Lash Legend. They kind of just reiterate that they want the tag team titles and that they are coming for them. We then get Jade Cargill pretty quickly squashing Alba Fire via pinfall following Jaded. We then go to Axiom. He wants to fight DIY and pleads, Fraxium wants to face DIY. And they plead their case to Nick Aldis. Ilya Dragunov comes in and demands a match with Tommaso Ciampa, which Nick Aldis grants. Dragunov says Fraxium can have whatever's left of Ciampa and Gargano after he's done with them. Tama Tonga then comes in for a stare down. Solo Sikoa pops up and tells all of the MFTs that we can handle this business later, but they need to focus on what they're going to go out to the ring and talk about in a minute. We then go to BFAB. She runs into Jade Cargill. They argue for a bit. Michin then comes in with her kendo stick to break it up and glares at Cargill. So seemingly maybe setting up a match between Michin and Jade going forward. We then go to Solo Sikoa and the MFTs come out to brag about their big win last week. He says that brings him to the Wyatt Six as he isn't happy with them stalking his family. Solo is too smart for that and is ready to take the memories from Uncle Howdy. It is time to show that Howdy doesn't deserve the name Wyatt because all he has to do is leave. Sikoa and company go to leave the ring, but the Wyatt Six then come out with Uncle Howdy popping up behind Sikoa, and they have a bit of a stare down. All of them end up brawling, and we actually get a Rowan versus Talatanga showdown with the fans pretty much popping pretty hard for a lot of this, and the Wyatts end up standing tall to end the segment. We then go to The Miz. He wants a spot on Saturday night's main event and is accused of switching the balls for the tournament last week to ensure that he got the spot to get back in. We then have Bayley come in and distracts Nick, so the Miz storms off. Bayley says he announces that Bayley will be wrestling next Saturday at Saturday night's main event and will be facing NXT star Sol Ruca, who comes in and they have a little bit of friendly banter. Bayley says she's been watching Sol Ruca and will be watching her at Deadline this Saturday. We then go to Gunther. He is ready to win the Last Time Is Now tournament and knows that there are a bunch of hungry superstars in the back. He's different. He's a different kind, though, and wants John Cena to watch how he beats LA Knight tonight, because that is exactly what he's going to do to him. We then get Aleister Black. He cuts a promo as well on Damian Priest. He knows that he's broken Damian Priest. He's sick of him. Zelina then pops in, and she has a snake kind of around her neck, kind of carrying it. Mocks Rhea Ripley, with both of them promising to destroy the Terror Twins and pretty much just destroy them and take them out and stand tall. And then we get our Last Time Is Now final. Gunther defeats LA Knight. No surprise there. He kind of does a variation of the submission. Variation of the crossface. He kind of, I can't remember the name of the move, but Austin Aries did a submission at one point where he kind of is like laying on the guy's back, but he's pulling him in like a camel clutch kind of situation, kind of crossface type situation. But it was a really interesting submission. It kind of started as a rear naked choke, and it kind of just turned into this like bridging crossface kind of thing. So, but he gets him to tap to that, and Gunther wins the Last Time Is Now tournament. After the match, Gunther promises to make John Cena tap out as well at Saturday night's main event to end his career. But that match was absolutely the best match of the week. Kind of a rare non-US Open Challenge win for best match of the week on SmackDown. But this one had a little bit more stakes and just got a little bit more time. And Due to an interference. The U.S. title match wasn't quite as good as usual. It was still really good, but it just wasn't quite given the time or the stage that the final here did. We will then go from there to Turning Point, which happened Friday for TNA. We get an opening video that shows the top stars on the show and how important it is to give their all and never give up on their dreams. Obviously, mostly focusing on JDC going for the big belt tonight. We then get Mike Santana. He defeats Charlie Dempsey via pinfall following the spin the block. We get a promo from Frankie Kazarian. He is ready to show and make JDC the failure that he is. We then get the Inspiration retaining their championships against Victoria Crawford and Tessa Blanchard when they hit the Idolizer on Crawford. We then go to Santino. He still wants to know who is behind this NXT invasion, but Ariana Grace tells him to not worry about it being Stax or Stax being the leader. But she'll try and get to the bottom of it, which I don't think she really will, but that's what she says. We then get a hardcore match where Matt Cardona defeats Mance Warner via pinfall following radio silence. We then go to an emotional JDC. He talks about how wrestling is the only place that ever made sense for him in life. He says then he got married and it was time for him to retire. But he poses the question, what if he just wins the world title tonight and then goes out at Genesis as the champion? We then go to Stax. He defeats Steve Macklin via pinfall when the ref was checking on Lexis King on the outside, who had been ringside with Stax the whole match. Stax then grabs Lexis King's cane, cracks Macklin over the head with it, and is able to steal the win and the TNA International Championship. So Stax not only one of the invaders, but also has now stolen one of the titles from TNA. We then get the Hardys. They're ready to defend their tag team titles against Igwe and DuPont later on. Lei Ying Lee then retains her women's champion or knockouts championship against Xia Brookside, following a torture rack neckbreaker. After the match, Lei Ying Lee is happy for her win and praises Xia for being a warrior and giving her a great match. Danny Luna then comes out after the match and jumps both of them, with Indy Hartwell eventually coming in and making the save. We then go to the NXT stars. They are very pleased with Stax' win and his new title. Stax says he wants Italian food out on the town, and High Rise says they can get right after it after they win the tag team championships. When they go to the Rascals, they defeat Order 4 in an 8-man tag when they hit a series of top rope moves at the end of the match consecutively on John Skyler and win the match. So and that match was an absolute banger. Definitely check it out. It's one of those that I really would say you need to go out of the way to see, because it was a really, really awesome 8-man. We then go to the Hardys. They defeat High Rise when they hit the Twist of Fate and Swanton on DuPont, get the win. After the match, the lights go out, and we see that the Righteous obviously from AEW and Ring of Honor previously are going to make their debut pretty soon and come out and stare at the Hardys and make it known that they're going to immediately make their presence felt and go for the tag team championships. We then go to Eric Young. He again promises to cleanse TNA. I still don't know what that means, because he still hasn't been successful in anything he's done so far, so we'll see. Leon Slater then defeats AJ Francis via pinfall when Swan turns on AJ Francis, allowing Leon Slater to hit the Swanton 450 and retain his X Division championship. We then get Ryan Nemeth. He comes out and brags about his big brother and all of their great YouTube views and all the numbers that they bring in for TNA. But Mara Sade then comes out and kicks him in the face and leaves him laying. And then we go to our main event, where Frankie Kazarian defeats JDC via technical submission when JDC passes out in the crossface chicken wing. Like I said, best match, definitely Rascals versus Order 4. Go check it out. It was really fantastic. We then go to Collision from there. Before we wrap up with Deadline, Orange Cassidy opens the show defeating Roderick Strong via pinfall when he is able to reverse a backbreaker attempt into a cradle pin. This gets Orange Cassidy his first 3 points in the Blue League. After the match, Roderick Strong, obviously pissed, storms off in a huff. We then get Darby Allin. He announces he officially is out of the Continental Classic due to injuries. Jack Perry is taking his place. Darby talks about how the Death Riders are winning the war, but they're not because they're out here doing push-ups. They have won the war but he will come back and continue to battle them when he gets healthy. He says he was wrestling Kevin Knight and he couldn't feel his legs. It was the first time he has ever been scared in a wrestling ring. While he's never seen eye to eye with Jack Perry, he wants him to win the whole damn thing. And he's not sure when he will be able to return, but he will do his damnedest to do so. We then get FTR with Stokely coming out. Stokely is happy with his win, but he has to address what happened this week on Dynamite. Fans boo him out of the building over and over, and Stokely makes it clear that they want the Bang Bang Gang out here right now. Wheeler says that the gang will always be Billy's boy and Mr. Tony Storm. Harwood brags about FTR's all-time success, and they are willing to let Juice Robinson touch the belt because he's the man of his word. Austin Gunn then says he is the son of a Hall of Famer. He is the son of Billy Gunn. And he talks about how Juice Robinson is the son of a carpenter. That Cash Wheeler is the son of his first cousin, and Dax Harwood is just a plain old son of a bitch. Austin Gunn then brings up beating FTR recently, and now they want their title match. It has apparently been set for a United Kingdom show next week, and the Bang Bang Gang promised to not only touch the titles, but win them. We then go to the Death Riders. They are ready to destroy Mark Briscoe and take the TNT Championship for Daniel Garcia. We then get Mascara Dorado. He defeats Claudio Castagnoli via pinfall following the Shooting Star Press. Dorado is able to get 3 points for himself in the Gold League following this match. Or the Blue League, I'm sorry. Blue League. That's where I had to do my correction because they are in the Blue League. So Mascara Dorado gets off the 0 point squad and gets him 3 points there in the Blue League. We then got earlier today, the Timeless Love Bombs and the Babes of Wrath sat down for some champagne in an interview. Storm talks about how she and Shirikawa love each other no matter what, and she has beaten both of the Babes of Wrath previously. Harley Cameron says that the Babes have wrath, but Mina Shirikawa says they're here for the titles, and then they eventually have a toast. So kind of just a way to set up and give a little bit more hype to the Women's Tag Team Title Tournament final. We then go to Swerve Strickland. He comes out to the ring to cut a promo. Talks about how he's freshly back from 3 months out due to injury and rehab. When he was champion, he made it clear that he was going to bring everything, and that brings him to Samoa Joe. Swerve beat him last time they fought, and now he has to go through a bunch of people to get to the Ops. It doesn't matter, though, as Joe will fall. That brings him to Hangman Page, and Swerve is willing to have his back for one night at Winter is Coming. Josh Alexander then comes out to say that this is Don Callis' house, not Swerve's. Why isn't Swerve looking for revenge on the people who hurt him, which was the Don Callis family? Alexander thinks he should get a title match, so he challenges Swerve to a match at Winter is Coming, and that seems to be accepted. And then Katsuyori Shibata comes out of nowhere and chop blocks Swerve's recently repaired knee to kind of get an extra little bit of a shot in there. We then go to Mercedes Moné. She does not want to talk about her loss last night at Final Battle to Red Velvet, so she has one belt less. But tonight she promises revenge. She gets some modicum revenge, retains her TBS championship, defeating Layla Gray via submission with the statement maker. After the match, she continues to have the hold on until Chris Daniels comes in and rips her off, and even then he gets low blowed for getting involved. We then go to Eddie Kingston. He talks about how he's been doing this for 25 years, and he does not like Samoa Joe taking wrestlers down the wrong path. That all starts with the World Championship, and Kingston wants it to change for good. He's not just doing this for the title, but to show the people how to do it the right way, as that is what AEW is supposed to be. We then get the Triangle of Madness beating down a bunch of people backstage, leaving them all laying, and says they'll be in Cardiff if Jamie Hayter and Chris Statlander want to be there as well. We then go to Ricochet. He defeats Ace Austin via pinfall following a Vertigo driver. After the match, FTR comes out and beats down Ace Austin with the Bang Bang Gang eventually coming out and making the save, holding the titles up, meaning that they did touch them, and FTR demands that it will never happen again. We then get Konosuke Takeshita defeating Jon Moxley via pinfall following Raging Fire. This gets Takeshita 3 points and takes him to 6 points total, tying him for first in the Blue League with Claudio at 6 total points. And that was absolutely the best match of the show, probably the AEW match of the week, I would say for sure. So definitely go out of your way to check that one out. Takeshita, again, is like I said about going through earlier, if he's in the ring, probably going to have the best match of the show, maybe even the best match of the week. But we will go from there, and we will go to our final show, which is Deadline. We have an opening video. It focuses on time, obviously, knowing that you need to focus on the time in the Iron Survivor match. And talks about how not only the Iron Survivor Challenge matches are important tonight, but also title reigns ending and title reigns continuing. We then, like Ava announced on NXT earlier in the week, we get Oba Femi and Ricky Saints to open the show. Oba Femi defeats Ricky Saints via pinfall, following a sit-out fall from Grace powerbomb, and wins his NXT championship back. After the match, they shake hands. So, Ricky losing the title is not completely shocking. I would have thought he probably would have retained, but obviously they want to do something with Oba going forward. We'll continue to see where they kind of go with that from here. We then go to our next match, or we will actually go to the back. Kendall Gray is with Ren Sinclair, and she is ready to shock the world, and she is strategizing how she will handle the Iron Survivor Challenge. We then get video on the Iron Survivor Challenge, kind of reminding us the rules and all that good stuff. So then we get the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge, and Kendall Gray scores the upset and actually does win the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge. She does so by getting 3 falls. And the last fall she hits the Shades of Grey on Lola Vice with, I think, less than a minute left, and she just kind of survives towards the end. So Kendall Gray, the Evolve Women's Champion, gets the big win here and will face JC Jane at New Year's Evil. The other participants in the match, Sol Ruka, Kalani Jordan, Jordan Grace, and Lola Vice, all had 2 falls each. So a lot of falls in the women's match, but a really, really good match. Somebody in one of our chats throughout the families of podcasts that we do pointed out that they really have the formula for these Iron Survivor Challenge matches down pretty pat, and this was no different. It was a really fantastic match with all these women going all out for the 25 minutes. We then go to Blake Monroe. She says she is going to issue an open challenge for the Women's North American Championship on Tuesday. Ava thinks she seems to think this is a bad idea, but if that's what Blake wants to do, she can have her way. When they go to Miles Bourne, he is ready for Oba Femi again after he wins the Iron Survivor Challenge. He says he's been mulling it over, but he has decided to enter the Iron Survivor Challenge match third. He doesn't want to put himself at the disadvantage of being out there the whole time at first, but he doesn't want to hamstring himself by coming in last, so he's coming in right smack dab in the middle. He's continuing to be interviewed, but a brawl between Kalani Jordan and Jordan Grace kind of cut it off before he can say much more. We then get Ethan Page. He retains his North American Championship against Mr. Iguana via pinfall following the Twisted Grin. We then go to Oba Femi. He says he did his part. Now it's on Dion Lennox to do his part based on the conversation that they had on Tuesday. Oba Femi hopes that Lennox wins so they can battle once again. Izzy Dame then defeats Tatum Paxley via pinfall with a choke bomb following a distraction from Spears and Nico. So Tatum loses to Izzy, but Izzy wins because of the distraction, obviously. We then go back to the back. Ricky Saints is upset with his loss, but he runs into Javon Evans and tries to give Javon Evans a big pep talk ahead of his Iron Survivor Challenge appearance. We then go to Shiloh Hill. He is in the back. He cuts kind of his final promo before he debuts. I think they don't really announce it, but I think he's going to be there Tuesday on the next NXT episode. He says one time he watched squirrels playing and wanted to know what it would be like to communicate with them. He then chased one of them and finally caught it. This caught the eye of a high school football coach and asked Shiloh to play because of how fast he was. He then tells a story about getting into a fight when he was a kid and losing his tooth that he's kind of known for. Then we see that he's seemingly talking to a machine, which says it's time for everyone to wake up. And obviously that's kind of implying that he will be there Tuesday for his debut. And then we go to our men's Iron Survivor match, and Javon Evans wins so by getting 2 falls, and he scores the last fall on Miles Bourne with an inside cradle with like literally I think 2 seconds left before the time expires. So they kind of do the same finish for both, where they kind of get the last fall right under the gun. But again, another really awesome Iron Survivor match. Miles Bourne, Joe Hendry, Dion Lennox, and Leon Slater all finished with 1 fall each. Obviously, Javon had 2 to get the big win. After the match, Javon shows respect to everyone, with Lennox not being interested in shaking hands. Obafemi then comes out for a stare down. He's kind of in the entranceway and is looking at Javon, obviously leading to their match at that will lead to their match at New Year's Evil. Within the lights go dark, we see a video of someone walking down a bridge. We don't really see their face. Femi and Evans aren't sure what just happened. The lights come back on, and we see that Tony D'Angelo is back, and he actually hits the spine buster on Evans after Evans offered a handshake. He then drops something on top of Javon Evans. It was some kind of black fabric or something like that. But he leaves Evans laying, and he ends up having a stare down with Obafemi as well. So Tony D'Angelo obviously is one of the only other people to defeat Obafemi. Previously, he defeated him for the North American Championship. So we'll see kind of where they go. Obviously, Evans has a one-on-one match with Obafemi coming at New Year's Evil. So we'll see if Tony D'Angelo gets involved in that. But Tony D seemingly back. We'll see what he kind of has going forward. But as far as best match for this show, I kind of cheated. I didn't really think one Iron Survivor match was like drastically better than the other. I thought they were both fantastic. So best match for me for Deadline goes to both Iron Survivor Challenge matches. Just a concept in general, I think, is really strong, and they continue to do it really, really well. So I will cheat a little bit and give it to both Iron Survivor Challenge matches. If I had to give the heads up, I would probably go maybe with the women's a little bit more, just because they had a few more falls, and I just like seeing some pinning action a little bit more there, and I thought it was just really well done. But both were awesome. Definitely check both out because they were really good stuff. So as always, thank you for joining me. I appreciate any and everyone that listens, and we will see you next time we come in.
About to blow, waiting for me to stop the show. Out the curtain light.